and interact with the blockchain, for God's sake. You can't
Okay,
not connect up a PC with a
but you
computer.
don't
So
use
with
that
the
for
internet, right?
anything else, correct? You don't go on to
Correct.
anything else except okay.
Yep. Yep. You don't
Okay.
use it for your Telegram. You don't use it for your web surfing. You connect up and you get
Nothing.
your
Okay.
browser. Your browser you select. I would suggest maybe Chrome and also Firefox. You have your front end for the hardware wallets, and you got your MetaMask, and then you bookmark all of the Richard Hart projects and product sites, and that is
All
all you use it for.
right. Okay. Next thing. Do you like say I had to send some tokens or money to somebody to their address, and I should have, or should you have, a separate account, hardware wallet, for if I wanted to send you, for argument's sake, $25, put it onto that one wallet that I keep very little in. So if you say, okay, you send me $50, I put 50 into that wallet and send it to you, then using my main account. Is that correct? It's better to do that.
No, because you're worried about anonymity now, right? It's like if I'm a trusted person that deserves your time to get your crypto, even $100 worth, when you send it to me, I can then trace back all of those transactions to get back to your first wallet from whence the original transactions were made and where that money came from, all the way back to Coinbase. Now, if you want to anonymize it, you could send it to me directly from Coinbase would be better. So I can't see everything in your other wallets.
So send it. Okay, that's good. Oh, so just send it from Coinbase.
Yeah,
Okay. No, okay. All right.
you don't want to send things to people. The minute that you send things to people, you reveal your whole history of all your transactions that funded that wallet, all the trades. I could find all out all about you in terms of all of your, ins and outs from cryptocurrencies.
Okay, thank you for that info. That's good. So now just use Coinbase. Okay. Every
Yeah.
day you learn something.
Yeah, there are other services like Tornado Cash and Hurricash that you can kind of mix up those tokens so that they are obscured. But I wouldn't take that chance because it's possible that sooner rather than later, places like the U.S. government could be saying, well, that makes it very difficult for us to see what's going on. So we don't like people that do that, and they'll make things kind of complicated for you. You don't want to do that.
So are you saying, say I had to, I had to send 10 hex to you. So I transfer the 10 hex out of my wallet to Coinbase. No, I can't do that, can I? Can I
Yes, you can.
send? Oh, you
Yes, you
can.
can. You can.
Oh,
You select deposit into Coinbase. You get the public address from Coinbase that is assigned to you. You send to Coinbase, and then you would then send to me from Coinbase.
okay, I got that. Oh, okay, that's good.
And then when I receive it, it will be received. It will reflect having been received from Coinbase server number 1 or 4 or whatever.
All right, thank you. That's good to know. Anything else new about Hex or anything?
The Richard Hart interview yesterday was really nice. You should take a look at it.
He was, yesterday he had an interview. What was that called?
I forgot, but take a look on YouTube. Just type in Richard Hart, and you'll get the newest one. Misato. 32,000 wallets. 100,000 fake hex. It probably looks like it says hex. It looks like it comes from hex.com. Yes, but it's a different contract. It'll be 100,000. Do you see it in your wallet by any chance? I wonder if it's in our wallets. I don't have to check right now. But aren't isn't that a nice price for that clock?
How much was it?
15,000 yen. Dusting attack alert, guys. 100,000 hex in your wallet. Don't touch it. Different contract address. Mello, was that you?
Yeah, I was just trying to get everybody. It was a prank.
What was a prank?
Oh, never mind. What you say?
I said just trying to get everybody. What do you mean?
How you doing? I was just joking.
How high are you, Mello?
Um, how are you?
How high are you?
Hi, how are you?
I wish I was high.
Okay, are we? What's going on right now? I just popped in to I found that it's important to do like a 5 minute uh, listen to figure out what the fuck's going on in chat. It's
Yeah.
something about a dust attack.
Yes, there's a dusting attack right now that's in effect. Ty came in here to give a public service announcement. 100,000 hex appearing in people's wallets, appearing to be from hex.com. But it'll be a different contract address and it'll be standalone. So rather than click on it and start trying to fart around with it and then get screwed and drained, maybe it's better that you don't do that.
Oh, that is the most clearest scam I've seen in a while.
I mean,
And my main,
it's easy for veterans to check the contract address, but newbies could say, I bought 15,000 hex and now I got 100,000 there. I wonder which one's my real wallet. Click.
yeah, I mean, my original wallet that I got, like 5 years ago. It's got, I don't know, like 10 scam tokens. It sits dormant in the wallet, just there. It's kind of annoying, but then you just don't never touch it. You just ignore it. Like all these other ones. Like I'm pretty sure I'll have like 10,000 scam tokens in my wallet in like 15 years, and they'll all just like sit there, and I'll do nothing with them, and I'll be good.
Yep. Yep. Just like that herpes that you already got.
Yeah, exactly.
Boing.
See, but here, but the way they get you on those is right. It's a the hex fake hex contract. But in that fake hex contract, you interact with it, and then a pop up comes up on MetaMask, and then says, "Oh, you'd like to spend your tokens? Oh, give us permission to spend all your tokens." Oh, that's not. Oh, that sounds awesome. I want to. I want to sell some X tokens that I got for free. Oh, I just have to approve it. Oh, great, no problem. Oh, crap! All my money's gone.
Yeah, the problem is you can't read that. People don't read that code when they're clicking even on their hardware wallet. They're click, 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 done.
Yeah, I mean, if you pay attention in the MetaMask pop up, you can see, but then you really have to understand like what you're reading, which hardly anybody does. And I like literally been in the space, pretty technical, and I find it hard to understand what the hell is going on with the pop up windows when I know what's going on, let alone like a new person. Yeah, new people are just like, yeah, they get screwed sometimes. So, right, I've been lucky, and I haven't had that particular attack. But I have actually been screwed in other ways, which we all have been screwed in one way or another. Because crypto is hard, and people, lots of bad actors.
Speaking of, did you see the Richard Hart interview, the most recent one? It's really, really
The
good
one
for fresh onboarding. It's really good.
you mean the one where he was with the finance people, the very last one?
Yes, yes.
Oh no, I haven't. I'm on a road trip, so I should probably watch that because I got nothing better to do. My wife's driving, which is awesome.
It's
So I
really
should
good
probably watch
for
that.
it's really good for onboarding, especially 40 to 50 somethings. There's no swearing. There's no flamboyance. Just a down to earth schooling for an hour. It's really good.
Well, that's great. You know what I mean? More videos, the better. But like the last few days, it's been pretty entertaining. The GitLab has been spammed excessively, and apparently voice chat is also being a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, that was very creative, actually.
Well, here's a story. So one of those issue comments, or actually probably one of the issues that was created on the GitLab, had a woman with a male organ, and I like opened that email like in the middle of Starbucks, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like in the middle of Starbucks. I'm like, I hope nobody saw that. Exactly. You know what I mean? I opened like all the issues because I want to know what's going on. And then there's like a picture that I really wish I hadn't opened. And I'm like in the middle of Starbucks.
And then the transsexuals next to you said, "Oh, how are you doing?"
Yeah. I was like, oh crap, delete.
Yeah, so it's being spammed. So what does that really mean? I mean, someone is just posting a whole bunch of ridiculous JPEGs up there. Can't that just be weeded out in like 10 seconds? Gamma? Gamma Rama. All right, he suddenly had his narcolepsy fit and muted himself. Okay.
No, I'm driving, so my internet went out.
How dare you? Anyway, so what do you do when the GitLab gets spammed? Can't you just clean it up in like a couple seconds of, you know,
Yeah,
finding
well
out?
here what I was saying when I got muted by the internet, Brett said that he doesn't even have permission to delete issues. So So like Richard or whoever has like ownership or elevated permissions, like admin of GitLab repo would it has permissions to like delete that stuff. So so somebody has to go in there with rights and just delete the those miscellaneous issues and comments. But all Brett can do and all the devs can do is like close it so it doesn't show up in the list. But because it's like an open repository and it's open for the community to like to post issues, there's nothing really you can do about it other than like see it, close it, see it, close it. It's like whack-a-mole.
Speaking of see it and close it, I saw that capture from this video chat that seemed more like an open suppository.
I'm giggling over here. What?
Yeah, you saw in the admin chat. That's what I meant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Well, the interesting thing about that is somebody shaves their hiney.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I hit the dislike button on that one.
Yeah, I mean, they could have chose a more attractive derriere.
I don't know. I give it a 2.5.
2.5 and a 10. Yeah, maybe.
No, it was out of 100.
Oh, that's more like it. Yeah. So I mean, we're still in like waiting mode for Pulsechain, and so like this next week, the merge for the final testnet for Ethereum 2.0 is happening not next week but the week after. So that gives me something to do. So I get to like double check my server to make sure I'm ready for the merge on Ethereum testnet, and then that's Monday or Tuesday of the week after next is the final testnet for Ethereum. And then like obviously that doesn't do anything for users, but it's technically interesting. And I got nothing going on right now other than like family and other things. So I'm like, sure, I might as well since I'm doing that. Waiting for Pulsechain.
Yeah, so did you capture anything new in between all the spamming and everything? Are there a number of issues that have been closed or addressed or committed? Anything like that on GitLab?
Oh no, they haven't. Everything's still private. So like literally like nothing publicly is happening like at all right now.
Yeah, but you have ways of getting that info. Have you collected anything to share?
No, I literally don't because it's like a dark hole, and none of the devs are talking, and none of the public information that's available, like nothing. There's like everything. It's like the dev team is very good at not leaking information. So until Richard and the devs decide to publish something publicly, we're sitting with the same thing of just waiting.
Right, but
Um,
I thought before that the you oh so the I know I'm not talking about the repository that is specific and exclusive to the devs. But just the public one, didn't you and others take a look at the amount of open issues? Of course, they're not prioritized. There's no like showstopper priority, urgent or anything like that. on there,
Oh,
but
I don't know the list, but it hasn't effectively changed in a while. So my position or my opinion, I think my hypothesis is the devs are literally working on a completely separate repository with separate issues that are prioritized, and they probably have their own dev boards with issues that they're dealing with. And literally the issues you see in the public GitLab are like the lowest of the lowest priority. Like the devs could copy those issues into their own repository, right? Their own list of issues. And for whatever reason, they haven't closed any of those. They haven't really dealt with it at all. At one point in April, May, they were cleaning those up pretty well. But I think that was in anticipation of actually launching Pulsechain. But then since they started doing that additional dev work, right, to move some of the system contract code outside into the EVM client and like move that logic, the business logic from inside the EVM to the outside the EVM, they basically put that on the back burner. So, I mean, I don't know. I would love if there was like some like dev video chat or some thing where they like talked about like what the fuck is going on, but they're not, and so we're waiting. So I'm waiting. Eventually, they're going to come out and they're going to tell us what's going on. So it's a waiting game, right? And we can't take any clues from the public repositories because nothing's been really being posted there. So there's no clues to be found.
I thought they were being cleared out. So when they were expecting a
Hey, Papa Boner, do you know about what the guys are developing? The Dog and IO? Man, they are airdropping. It was everybody that was here in the chat months ago. They're they are airdropping everybody that was with us.
who got what now? I don't understand what you're talking about, man.
It sounded like he was talking about a third-party project that I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, and also I've heard that he's involved in a group of people that go to projects and literally slur them or slash them, you know.
No, but Rednecks, Jake and Ada, John S, all the guys, they did this project. I will not say the name again to respect you. And they're airdropping for everybody is on the board of this train. It's the Dog and IO.
Okay.
And I was a little bit against them in the beginning. I called them that they were acting like prostitutes, turning back to the project and spitting on the Pulsechain and all this crap. But now they on board me. They're dropped me 60 million tokens, so that's okay.
Congratulations.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's not positive for the community. I don't know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
But that is not positive for the community.
Yeah, but the big ore, the biggest ore is John S. Is the biggest ore of that brothel because he's convincing people that X is going to 1 cent soon, and he's convincing them to dump it, and he's pro- promising that will really go to 1 cent, and people follow him because he's a good trader. And this was the major whore that gathered the brothel. But of course, the guys followed. So
I remember John S. Are you serious?
yeah, man, this
Yeah,
is
well, look,
he's the founder
Tone
of the
Vase
brothel.
also Tone Vase also calls himself a good trader, but we have yet to see proof of trades.
Exactly.
I mean, what's happening? Like what you're talking about right now, literally going to happen like a thousand
Like
fold more, like from like
literally,
everybody's gonna be doing
do you know what?
this.
Do you know my proof of
You know what I
trade? Do you know
mean?
my
It's not
proof of
new.
trade? Yesterday I staked until 2 September. September 2, I staked 500 million X tokens. That's my proof of trade. I don't give a shit about John S.
Yeah,
500
hey,
million
Gamma.
hex? Wow.
500,
Hey,
no,
Gamma.
500,
It's not.
500,000
It's
X. 500,000, 500,000 X. Sorry, man. 500,000 X. 500,000 X.
Yeah. So Gamma, it has been like this, and it's gonna be like this tenfold when it comes out, bro. But it's like it's like people are just bored and are impatient right now. So it's like they're just doing whatever they want, and it's like they're not bringing no positivity right now, and
Yeah,
But
I
you know,
know.
no, no, no,
it's
no. But,
I
just
but you know what?
understand.
sad to see.
These motherfuckers, I'm there with them. But these motherfuckers, they were bullying me because I raised questions. They were convincing people to stake for 15 years, and they were here advocating that people should stake for 15 years because I remember what they said. And now they say that only now they are on the chat mocking people who sacrificed, especially John S. saying that only dumb people would sacrifice. You'd never sacrifice, telling everybody it's very stupid to sacrifice. That he will buy Pulse if he finds that is the good time to buy Pulse when it launches, not by sacrifice, delivering money to somebody he doesn't know, and that X is gonna dump, and that he has no X at all because it will come to 1 cent, and he will buy it at 1 cent or even below. And these were the people that were telling that, oh, they sacrificed a lot, oh, they staked for 15 years, that they ladders 15
I mean,
years, like
Top
until
Gun, Top
15
Cat,
years.
Top Cat,
All these
Top Cat,
bullshitters, man.
Top Cat. 1 second. Can I say something?
Yeah,
This
please go
same
ahead.
bullshit. Yeah, yeah. When Hex first came out, we had similar things happen. People were super bullish on Hex. The market started going down all south a little bit. We had that 32-day bottom, and like people started getting flooded out, and they started doing their own things, creating copies. I mean, it's like Hex 2.0 happening right now because we haven't launched yet. Like literally, like I'm going through like a second phase of like the same bullshit we did 2 years ago with the same, almost like the same type of people. They were like super bullish, blah blah blah. Yeah, yeah, I'm all on board. And now, oh, I'm gonna make my own project. It's gonna be super awesome. Screw you, screw all the Richard Hart stuff because I'm really smart. I can make stuff awesome, and that shit never fucking works out. Like almost never, right? Works out.
But
They're gonna
the
be out
problem is
there
not
in their
the
groups
problem is not.
talking about their
But
shit.
I'm not angry that they are now disappointed or that they are overexcited. It's fine that they were overexcited. It's fine that they are disappointed. What is not fine is that they lied. They were saying that they were sacrificing and they didn't, or that now they say that they didn't sacrifice when they did sacrifice. Like saying lies, bullshit, disguising, all this kind of bullshit, this confusion that they create on people's heads. that that's what liars do, right? That's what
Yeah,
manipulators do.
they're
And these
they're
these
trying.
people are manipulators,
I
liars, cheaters.
I
It's the
I,
worst
I
kind of
understand, Top
wars.
Cat.
The worst kind of wars exist.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
But it's like these people are always there. They're always manipulating. There's always people who create groups and try to manipulate people who maybe don't have as much understanding as they do, and then they just try and manipulate the market and to their advantage. I've gotten to the point where I just like don't fucking care about them at all, and I just do my own thing. But it's sad for me when I hear people being taken advantage of like in this way,
But look,
right? I'm
people
just
like
sad.
Pepe, man, people like Pepe. Look, who would believe that Pepe was this dirty whore? Ooh, because when you listen Pepe speaking with his very nice voice and very wise speech, you expect the nice grandfather that is here to help you, and he's a fucking whore, man. He's just a fucking whore like the others, right? And,
All
and this
right, so
this hurts
listen, listen,
people.
listen,
This
listen.
hurts people.
Top cat. I understand your frustration. Let's not talk about people behind
Frustration,
your backs.
exactly. That's how I feel.
Let's just let's continue. Let's invite other people
Okay, that's
to
fine. I
come in.
vented.
We haven't,
Sorry,
this
sorry.
chat has been empty for a
Okay,
while.
you're right. I had to vent it. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it comes around. This is not the first time I've ever seen this. people make fun of me because I'm not on board with all these other bullshit fucking meme coins and all this crazy shit going on, because I know where it's going to end. And even though in the short term maybe people make money, in the long term they're not. And I'm okay, whatever. And as long as they're not fucking doing this shit in this chat, I'm fine. They can go off into the wilderness and they can do their own thing. And maybe it works out for them, or maybe it doesn't. But from my perspective, it doesn't fucking change anything at all about anything that's going on with me, X, Pulsechain, PulseX, whatever. Right?
Right.
Like I said, it is disappointing that people that were in the chat before have gone out and they're doing their own thing. And like, I just hope they don't screw over too many people. Right? Maybe it works out for them. Maybe it doesn't. I have no idea, because I'm not literally not a part of any of these other third party things that are going on, because I don't think it's going to end very well for them. But the founders are probably going to make money. Some people are going to make money, but the majority of
Man,
people are going to lose all
look,
their
you
fucking
should
money.
look. It's just it's just a bullshit. Look, you should listen to the conversation. They are so serious about it. Talk. If you listen to them talking, if you are there for 5 minutes, you will be convinced that Dog.io will revolutionize the porno industry, because they're telling everybody that they are going to revolutionize the porno industry, and they say it in a way that people could even believe that they are not joking, because they are convincing, man. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
this crew is good. This is a good crew. Okay, I have to say,
just
this
don't drop.
crew
Don't
this crew is
give them
professional.
free. Top Cat, don't give them free advertising for one. Okay,
Okay,
you
okay.
know what I mean? Please.
Okay, yes, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I mean, yeah, he's doing. I feel like bro, you have tokens, so like you're just talking about. Leave it alone, bro.
It's fine. Thank you. I have to leave. I have to go. So thank you. Thank you for letting me vent a
Hey,
little bit.
Top Cat, check your DMs.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's cool, Top Cat. Oh, he's left. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's gonna get like 100 times worse than this, and there's gonna be tons and tons of projects out there. Almost all of them are gonna fail. Like, yeah, that's how crypto is. Just be careful where you put your money, where you spend your time.
Man, dude, this is hilarious, bro. He just came in and I was just telling him that he was the main one in there with them, and I'm confused on how he's in here. So how you guys doing? How are you guys, Gamma? How's your endpoint going?
No, that's
Haven't checked
fine. I
my
mean, it's
computer in a
up
minute.
100% uptime as far as I can tell. 99.9999. I mean, it's so stable that I was on vacation and I'm pretty sure that it's still running, because Pulsechain, the client, is so stable that I never have a single problem with it. Um, I was on beach vacation and nobody ever pinged me saying there was a problem. So I assume there's no problem.
Nice, nice. Yeah, man, this is the times, man. Like, do your vacation time, hang with your kids, your family. Because
No, I
once
was just
Pole Chain
talking.
comes out, we're gonna be all over the place.
Yeah, I was just saying to Papa that like ETH 2.0, like the Goerli testnet is merging next week, not next week, but the week after. Um, and so I'm running hardware for that. So I'm gonna be a part of that merge, which is nice, and like see how that goes. So it's basically about the tech, right? Like the Ethereum tech, Pulsechain, like that's where I'm at. And like, so I have something to look forward to a week and a half from now, which is nice. And we'll hear about Pulsechain whenever Richard gives us some update on what's going on with that.
Hey, Gamma, I got a question for you, man. Since you're in the know and you are running your Ethereum node and you're also running a test net for Pulsechain node, you're going to be a validator. Is that correct?
No, I'm not going to be a validator. I'm running an RPC
Okay.
endpoint that's
Okay.
kind of going
Okay.
to be private,
So
but yeah, yeah.
right, so you're just running a node just because that's a cool opportunity to take a look at what's going on from a more technical level, and I understand. Question is, from a development standpoint, the big merge happens in what, September? to proof of stake on Ethereum, what does that really mean in terms of being a pain in the ass for our developers to have to, work with that? There was a bit of a debate on Wake Up Hex show. Um, it's either going to be a minor, like little kink that's going to be adding a couple of weeks onto the process, which is expected and understood, and it's fine. Or some people are crying that the sky is falling and they're going to have to like, start all over from scratch if they don't make it in time because they'll be, developing
No,
on a. Yeah, no, I don't think so. But can
it's
you tell us
minor.
exactly what
It's a minor
minor?
inconvenience. So here's I'll explain in detail because I have an ability right now, right? And you asked the question. Awesome. Love technical questions. So Ethereum 2.0 is the beacon chain, which is its own blockchain, validators, which is produces blocks that syncs to the beacon chain, which is its own chain, and the beacon chain connects to a full node. A Ethereum full node like is ran right now. That doesn't actually change. So post merge, instead of the miners pushing blocks directly to the full node, right? Adding blocks to the full node chain, which they call the execution environment. After the merge, the validators, proof of stake validators, which are connected to the beacon chain for reorganization of the committees and like the proof of stake contract and like how things are organized for the validators to like be put into rotation to produce blocks. All that is organized by the beacon chain, but the blocks are produced by the validators at that point and then pushed to the full node, which is the same full node that we're using right now, only with different code. So the merge basically is just the same full node that's happening right now, taking blocks from the validators instead of miners and being connected directly to the beacon chain. So that's like basically what's happening, and that's going to happen at a particular block height. So all the code changes that would need to be adjusted by the developers, Pulsechain developers, will already be committed. So they're already going to be allowed like the time to like deal with that code, and it isn't like the database because we're forking the database of the L1 of the execution environment. So the database is effectively the same. I mean, I don't know what like huge changes are happening. Not many. The developers are already, as Geth pushes updates, the Pulse Go devs are taking those updates and then dealing with them as they come. So right, so they're incrementally like, oh, okay, oh, Geth updated their software to deal with London fork or to deal with like the merge, blah blah. Okay, let's look at that. Like, how does that affect us? And then when we can deal with that, and then what they do is they merge in the things that they need to merge in, so they can stay synced up with the ETH1 client. So when the merge, so when the fork, when the block height of the Pulse Go, right, when the fork of Pulsechain happens, the client, the Pulse Go client is already up to date with the current code that they need, any modifications that are needed, blah blah blah. So like it's really like a minor inconvenience, really. Um, so people who say that it's going to be this end of the world thing are literally like the non-devs, and then anybody with any really technical background, and I don't even consider myself to be very technical, but it's like just a minor inconvenience is the opinion. That's like my opinion. It's not like none. It's like would take a little bit of work. So a 2 week estimate on like how long would that like push us back? Sure, it could literally be the one day. It could be a week. It could be 2 weeks. I don't know, but probably not even 2 weeks, honestly. Yeah, I don't know if I lost you in the middle of that.
No, that is such an excellent answer. For once and for all, what I'm hearing is it's about a 2 week impact should they go over the time frame that that merge would occur. But can you tell me what are the advantages of investing that 2 to 4 weeks after the Ethereum merge to then develop and regression test and then finally go live with Pulsechain? Are there any to be had?
I mean, well, I mean, you're not timing Pulsechain around the ETH2 launch,
No, no, I know,
right?
I get that, but I mean, are there advantages that are inherent in delays that take us beyond?
Well, I mean, so the reason you would need to make the block height past the merge is so that like any transactions that happen on the network post merge are included in Pulse chain. So I think having our Pulse chain block height like within a day or as close as possible to the actual launch of Pulse chain would be beneficial, just so there's less people whining about how, hey, I just bought a coin yesterday and it's not in the merge, or it wasn't copied. Wow, woe is me, I'm really crying here. Um, so if the devs can just add the code in, do the merges, can like do all that work, and then all the most recent purchases, sales, transfers can be added in the Pulse chain, then you limit the amount of people who are going to whine after Pulse chain launch. And say the merge happens on September 1st. I'm just throwing a name out there. Like, it's not September 1st. I'm saying September 1st, the merge happens, and then we don't launch until November, right? That's like 2 fucking months. I'm like, yeah, we absolutely would need to, include all of those sales, buys, all that movement on the Ethereum chain for during that period. So the merge would absolutely have to be accounted for, and you can't have a October 15th lock height and then launch in November. Like, that just isn't going to work, right? There'd be like everybody would be complaining at that point.
Okay, so let's get back to that. Um, I'm not technical, and I imagine the word snapshot to mean the block height that is determining all of the tokens that are going to be copied. And I thought that that would happen just simply at the fork. Why are we concerned about their possibility of the old chain balances, reflecting anything about, Pulse chain launching after the fork?
No, I mean, so you want, I mean, the snapshot, it's not really a snapshot, because a snapshot would be like a copy of a contract. Like, you can take a snapshot of the hex contract, and then that would be, at a particular block height, that contract has X amount, and like everyone owns like this. That would be my definition of a snapshot, because it's a smaller portion of a larger amount of data, right? But what we're doing is we're doing the entire data. So it's not really a snapshot, but then like here and there. So we can use snapshot, fork, whatever to mean the same thing. It's fine. People can get confused. But what our devs are going to be doing is they're going to click a block height. They're going to have the database synced on a Geth full node, and the Pulse Go client is going to get injected the full state of Ethereum at a particular block height, 15,100,000, whatever block number. And then they're gonna boot up a single computer with that database with the Pulsego client, and then they're gonna connect maybe 4 additional computers to that network, making a private network. And then they're gonna, with that private network, they're gonna do the AMM bot. They're gonna launch PulseX. They're gonna link the network to hex.com. What I mean? They're gonna do all that stuff, right? And how long does that take? Maybe a day. So theoretically, just say it takes them a day to do all that work. Okay, great. So the block height of the fork would be a day prior to you and I getting access to the network, because they literally needed to do work to make the network function. So it isn't like what most people think of a fork would be the way Ethereum Classic and the Ethereum current chain forked, where there was Geth was running a single network, and then the Ethereum network guys decided to make a change where they forked out back in the past the DAO, right? Like that gal, that $100 million, $1 billion, screw up that they did, right? Well, they altered the code. One group of people altered the code to basically orphan off like all the history except like just before the DAO, right? And then now they're pushing forward on a separate fork from the Ethereum Classic version, which literally just continued moving along on the current chain that included the DAO tokens in the hacker's wallet or whatever, whatever, right? So that's a fork. I mean, but it's done in a different way. So I mean, so effectively, so instead of going backward in time and finding a block height and then creating new blocks with new software, right? Adjusted software on a new fork calling it Ethereum going forward. I mean, Pulsechain is just taking the Ethereum L1, say a day prior, making Pulsechain, booting it up, and then now we're moving forward. And we're going to call that the fork because we are literally forking the Ethereum network at a certain block height, 15,100,000, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, I don't know if that helped or hindered your understanding of what's going on. Kind of ranty a little bit, I guess.
No, I love it.
Hey, Papa.
It was a big clarification.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you just faint.
Okay, I got it. Hey, Papa, is Mr. Pepe left us, has he?
It seems so. I haven't heard from him in a while.
Oh,
No,
okay, because he was.
So
yeah, I
last
see him
thing
on
I heard,
Twitter.
he had a heart issue. He had something going on, so just pray for him.
Or was it that serious?
Yeah. So he remember he had that heart issue before. He said that something else happened this time.
It's terrible.
No, I know Pepe's still around. I saw him on Twitter, but I haven't seen him in a Telegram chat in a long time.
Yeah, I was just listening to Top Cat's rant, and he was going on about him. I don't know what he was on about.
Hey, Papa, you might know the answer to this. What? Do you know why short codes not come into your phones anymore?
Say what? Short codes? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So you know how whenever you get messages to like verifications, like from like the 6-digit numbers, the 4-digit numbers,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
they give you they text with the code. Yeah. So those stop coming into my phone. And is there something I have to do? If anybody knows, I switched service providers as well.
That's odd. You mean SMS for your 2FA? Is that correct?
Yup. That exactly.
I don't think that there. I mean, look, do you have a Samsung or do you have an Apple? Or do you have a, I'm
Uh,
sorry, another Android based?
just the Apple. It was working beforehand. I already ported over my number, so I kept my number. So I ported over my number for both of my lines, and both of I get normal SMS, but just those short codes I'm not getting. It's so weird. They don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on.
So you talked to Apple about that, like the Apple shop. You called them up. You said, "Yo, what's going on with my new phone?"
Well, the phone is different. It's just the phone is not the same. I mean, the phone is the same. Just the service provider is not the same. So I moved from T-Mobile to Xfinity.
That's super odd. I've never heard anything like that before.
All right. I'm gonna keep searching.
Sorry, I can't help, man.
No, you're good.
Hi all. Papa Boner, I've got a question. If you could help out, it's just regarding
Yeah,
your.
sure.
Oh, thanks, mate. It's regarding the Legend Nano S migration videos you guys did. I watched it all, but I'm just a little confused on some issues, and mainly
Sure.
uh, the Ledger wallet migration via Restore from MetaMask. Is it only for protecting my non-liquid assets I created via MetaMask wallet, such as existing
No.
stakes, or is it also for migrating all
Uh,
my assets and accounts currently on MetaMask wallet?
okay. So the answer is a little bit complex. Anything that's liquid, you can migrate it over at the same time you migrate the seeds over, but it shouldn't stay on that wallet because that wallet is presumably either compromised or soft compromised, meaning that you started that seed began its life as a MetaMask, browser-based extension derived seed. And there's lots and lots of exploits now that target the seed store on your PC, collect the seed store and wait for you to type in your password and away it goes back to home and then you get owned. And we've got lots of people in this chat that come in and out that have been rinsed because of that. So the answer is it's very important to port it over and then take all liquid assets and anything of value ongoing as soon as it becomes liquid off of that migrated wallet. You have to have a safe place to send it, and that's why the second wallet is employed.
Cool. Okay. So I'm just thinking. So I've got my Ledger. Well, I got Ledger X, Nano X, and I'm currently getting my second Ledger wallet. It's coming. But I'm thinking, so when I do this migration from MetaMask to my Ledger, I'll call it Ledger One. The intent being that I just want to do that for all the coins that I staked, and that'll be for that. And then, but will by doing that migration, well, I'm assuming all my coins will get migrated across to my Ledger One, and then from that point, I can then move them from my Ledger One, the liquid asset coins, across to my second ledger when I get it.
Yes.
But I suppose my concern is I've got different accounts under different mainnets, about 3 of them: Polygon, Ethereum,
Yeah.
and
Doesn't
another one.
matter. Doesn't matter. They're associated with the same seed.
Will they? So I'm just thinking when it comes across, because I have quite a few different accounts under different mainnets, is it going to bamboozle me? And I know I've got to add the different main nets for each one, will my different accounts show up as just the public addresses, and then I'll have to rename them to mimic anything that I'd set
Yes,
up on MetaMask?
but
Okay.
precisely. Yep, because the instruction is that you're going to uninstall and reinstall MetaMask because it's running the same seeds as the migrated seed that you already put onto the hardware wallet. So yeah, you're going to uninstall and reinstall MetaMask. You're going to create a new 12-word seed for that new wallet that you're creating on the new installation of MetaMask. And then yes, by connecting up the hardware wallet back up with that new installation of MetaMask, you will have to rename everything again. You'll have to discover the tokens, make sure that all the contract addresses are correct, just like before. A minor inconvenience, of course, for the price. It's the price you pay to remove that seed off your PC and put it on a hardware wallet, right? And remembering that it's an ongoing process. The migration doesn't end there. The migration is only complete when the last bit of value gets unlocked for all your time locked assets, all your staking, all your whatever you've done on other networks for staking as well. All that has to be unlocked and back in your possession in liquid form, then sent over to the vault wallet. When the last shred of anything valuable leaves that wallet, then and only then can you uninstall, or rather factory wipe that unit, create a brand new 24-word seed phrase, possibly passphrase protected vault wallet, and start using that as your second vault. And then you're ahead of the game. It may take you years to do this, but create it, make it an ongoing process, sleeping easier each incremental day that goes by.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. I just think too, if it's because as you said, it's probably a bit of a initial painful process to do that, because I'm going to have to re-mimic all my accounts and things like that.
Well,
Which I'll
it beats
do.
losing it beats losing all your
Oh yeah,
goodies, right?
100%. Yeah. I'm just thinking if I get a bit lost in the process, and then I've also then deleted my MetaMask account. I've always got the option I can then reinstall with my seed phrases from the MetaMask account to go back on, and if I'm worried
No,
I've made a mistake, something's gone wrong.
no. First of all, you don't want to do that. Never reintroduce your seeds back into a soft wallet ever, because that involves you
Yeah,
typing them into a keyboard. It's very easy to get rinsed in that respect as well. So consider it a one-way street. If you get nervous, if you hose it up, just know that you can just redo it into your hardware wallet, or better yet, you confirm that you've done it properly in your hardware wallet before you uninstall and reinstall MetaMask. That's the process. And you don't
yeah.
look
Okay.
back.
I'm thinking I might take a lot of screenshots of my different accounts on MetaMask under the different mainnets, just so I got a visual of everything while I'm doing it. Because once I've moved it across the ledger and then I've deleted the MetaMask, I no longer have an image or an access to see what I actually had. So I'm like, oh,
Yep,
what actually do I have on
that's
there?
fine. Yep, that's fine. There's no harm in that as long as you're taking even a copy of the truncated public address. There's no harm in taking screenshots so you can see all your little tokens with all the little, you know, all of the symbols and logos and names that you've assigned, and then you can just recreate it. You'll be surprised at how quick it is that you get back on that horse.
Yeah, okay, that's good. It's given me a lot of confidence because I'm about to do it, but I'm a bit nervous because if you just if you make a
Now,
mistake, this is an industry that
no,
you can't afford
no,
to
no,
make
no, no.
mistakes.
In this regard, if you have if you have your backups, if you have your seed phrase written down properly, you can't make any mistake at all, other than typing it into a keyboard. You will never type the seed phrase into a keyboard ever again in your life. Then you can't make any mistakes. You'd only
Okay,
do it in
that's
advanced
good.
recovery into a hardware wallet, and you'll be safe.
Can I just say too? So when I do the migration across from say MetaMask to the Ledger, everything that was on that MetaMask under that account, that with those seed phrases, that will everything will get moved across to the Ledger. So I don't have to be concerned that something got missed and maybe I
Yep.
missed something.
Nothing is missed. In fact, it doesn't even exist on MetaMask right now. It exists on the
Yeah,
blockchain. You're just taking
yeah,
the keys and putting it on a different key ring.
yeah. Cool.
If
That's
you think
sweet.
of it that way, why would you be nervous at all? And that nervousness is going to be shed pretty damn quick because I want you to start thinking like an attacker. The minute that you start thinking like an attacker and finding out how you would be able to steal that from yourself, you will have such a whoosh of calmness that will come over your psyche, and you'll be able to say, you know what, there's no anxiety or fear or trepidation because those those attackers have blood in their veins. They don't give a shit about you. They think it's a victimless crime. They think it's bits and bytes that they're stealing from people. So think like an attacker. Look at it and say, how would I get this guy? How would I steal these seeds? Or how would I look at this? And when you start thinking like that by default, you rest so easy.
Yeah, okay, that's great. That's fantastic. I just think because I might be a couple of weeks waiting for my second ledger to come. Is it better to just move as everything will get moved across to my ledger? Just set it up on my first ledger, and then when I get my second ledger, I can then move my liquid assets off that onto the second one. But at least this stage,
Well,
I'll
what
get everything across to my
well,
first ledger.
what you can do if you really want to do it right now, because you're presumably in Australia. I can tell maybe your accent is Australian. I hope I'm not offending you by
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
so.
you got it. Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Aussie
So
through and
so
through. Yeah,
right, exactly. So you're buying it from ledger.com and it may take the better part of a couple weeks to get you your fresh unit. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
All right,
yeah.
then
So
here's what I suggest.
I've got the
Yeah.
first unit now. Yeah, the second unit
All
I'm
right.
waiting. Yep,
Yeah, but how
I'm
how
just
many
ordering
days
it.
out you think the second unit is?
Well, I'm just ordering it now, so yeah, I'm assuming it probably might be 2 weeks. Yeah.
All right, well here's what you can do with the first unit then. Why don't you create a a 24 word seed phrase, write down those words, write down the public copy paste the public address into some, easily accessible folder or file. Um, and you can start using that as a cold wallet repository for your liquid assets now. Then you factory wipe the unit, do your migration to the unit, and then when you get your second device, you can do a recovery of the seeds that you wrote down for the first wallet. So you've got two actives immediately. One is in cold, and the other one just waits until your hardware wallet arrives, and then you simply put those seeds onto the hardware wallet. So you can start using a Vault wallet now in cold storage. So you only send it one way. You're not going to be trading those coins or anything else like that, right? If you want them just to be static in a cold, secure location while you wait, and then you can have the migration done on the hardware wallet now. You may get a lower grade one. If you have a Nano X and maybe you have a Nano S that's coming, you may want the Nano S for your migratory wallet. So you can do a switch of those seeds again and introduce the seeds that were in the Nano X into the Nano S as your migratory wallet. And then you put the Vault wallet in the Nano X because you've obviously spent more money for that. So I find a lot of people like to consider the more higher priced unit to be their master vault.
Okay. Right,
Just a
vault,
thought,
vault.
man. Because
I'm back.
Mm,
yeah, because I just don't want I don't want a day to pass for you just waiting to say should I or shouldn't I, and you get rinsed. There are attacks that are coming out, all the time now. So no time like the present to get that migration done.
Papa, I was thinking
yeah.
while I was off. Um, sorry, I was thinking about like the ETH 2.0 merge, and the only thing I can
Yep.
think of is they're adding a security feature called checkpointing with ETH 2.0. So the devs would have to deal with that. So I don't know how hard that would be to like say mitigate. Um, my position has been, obviously better to fork before the merge, so we don't have to deal with a lot of that stuff. But there is, a little bit of stuff happening post merge that they would need to deal with.
Ah, Right on. But not too much anyway. How much would that add in terms of weeks to deal with? Maybe a couple more?
I mean, saying within that 2 week time frame, they would need to figure out that, and it's not something that they're not aware of already. It's a known thing. It's
Right on.
probably already
Right on.
integrated into already stuff they're having to do with right now. It just won't
Can
come
you
into
explain?
effect.
Can you explain what checkpointing is all about?
What check Yeah, checkpointing is they effectively put there's a hash of a block, and then all the transactions that happen before that are effectively locked. So they say, right, so there's a point where you do block one, block two, block three, block four. So all the transactions that happen to block four are like locked in. Basically, a checkpoint means that like we're gonna like just go with 100% certain that at this point, block four, everything is good to go. That's 100% like no problem. Can never be reversed ever. And then like block five happens and block six happens, and then there's another checkpoint that says, okay, so we're gonna just lock that block in. So every transaction before that can't be reverted. There's no orphaning it off or whatever. And so right, so with blockchains, usually it's never nothing's ever 100% certain, but because of the effectiveness of block of proof of work, the more blocks that you put on top of a particular say you do a transaction to me, you send one Bitcoin from you to me in block two. Now 20 blocks happen, 50 blocks happen. Like it would require so much computational energy and money to revert that block where you sent me a transaction that it's locked in, right? So effectively, for at least for Bitcoin, the standard is 6 blocks. So 6 blocks, you can be pretty sure that that transaction is never going to be reverted ever, right? And you can wait more. With Ethereum, it's usually like 20 or 30 or whatever blocks, and then they like lock it in. We're like, okay, as best as we can possibly know that that transaction that happened 30 blocks ago on the Ethereum chain won't be orphaned off. Right? The chain organizations that happen periodically in all blockchains wouldn't go back far enough to revert that transaction that happened 30 years ago. Now with checkpointing, that's just like a further step that says, okay, this transaction happened 50 blocks ago, would never ever be reverted because now it's been checkpointed in, and now the only changes that could ever happen on the blockchain are in the future from that checkpoint. Now, how often do checkpoints happen? They can happen once a day. They can happen every 4 hours. They can happen, every 5 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Um, but like, if there's a certain amount of time, right? It says, hey, this at this checkpoint, everything prior is like locked in, never to be changed again. And so they're integrating that into as a security feature to ensure that with proof of stake, that once transactions are a certain amount of weight has passed, how many, so many blockchain, so many blocks have happened since that transaction, that can never be reverted again. And that's just like a coding problem. That's like a security issue. That's the security feature they're adding into proof of stake, the after post merge that we would need to deal with. But it's not. I'm not saying that it'd be like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. I'm just saying it's a thing that's integrated into the code that they would need to deal with. And we're not like using Ethereum validators. We're not even using the same software as ETH 2.0 for Pulsechain, right? We're not using any of their software. So we're effectively just dealing with whatever is in the L1 guest node to take checkpoints. So would that require forking out that code and making some changes? I'm not really sure, but it isn't like end of the world. It's just a thing that they would need to deal with.
Cool. Thank you.
I mean, there have been some times when Richard has said that he wants to beat ETH 2.0 to market, but like obviously it's up to the devs, right? It's not like he's holding on, he's not sitting on his fucking hands just waiting for the perfect time. It's just not ready yet. So hopefully it's ready by the merge. We'll see. We'll see what he says in, like, I don't know, in August. We'll see what he says in September. I mean, I hope that it launches in the next few months, but we'll see what happens. I have no control over it. Richard literally has no control over it. I mean, he set the standard, so he's the project manager, and he set the standard for launch. And then we're not going to launch until we meet that standard. His standards are pretty high. I'm okay with the standard because I can have more confidence that network will function well and not be a Solana 2.0 kind of situation going down every week.
Now, let's not be so hard on Solana. They've been up for a week.
I know, right? Whoa, what an accomplishment. And then I'm still seeing I still see articles saying how they're a game changer. Yeah, they are a game changer. How not to make a blockchain function. They've hit like all the points.
Nice.
I mean, my opinion is, obviously I don't like Solana at all. And the more it's gone on, I've hated it more and more because they've had issues. But like, I mean, Solana is going to be like the master coin of the cycle. You know what I mean? It's like a thing that existed and then no longer exists anymore. I mean, technically it still exists, but nobody uses it. Nobody talks about it. It's basically dead. Like a cycle from now, 2 cycles from now, people are going to go, Solana, what was that again? Wait, what are you talking about?
Already, I don't think about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while you hear something, but then it's mostly just marketing from people who like invested in the thing. So they're like, let's put out an article that's pro Solana. And you're like, okay, great. Now I can forget about Solana for the next 2 weeks again until it dies again and everyone talks about it. So I mean, here's the reality of it. Like, we don't even know if Pulsechain is going to be incredibly successful, right? Like, I believe firmly that it's going to do so great in the next cycle. But is Pulsechain a multi-cycle, just like just keeps going, is awesome for like 3 cycles? Well, we don't know yet because the thing hasn't even launched yet. But if it can do awesome this cycle to the top, come out the next bear, still have an awesome community, still be up, still have people developing on it, then like at that point, then we'll know this thing's got legs. It could be around for the next 10 years. Awesome. Right? Until that happens, like that actual, like, you can see it on my dashboard, you can like understand what the community is. Right now it's basically just like a hope that this thing is going to be awesome. I hope it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. I think Richard's doing everything humanly possible, right, to make it awesome. So we'll see. Like, that's a reality. That's a valid point that you can say with some nuance, right? That's not fetish, but I'm like, okay, we just haven't gotten there yet. We'll see. But I think it has a better chance of being successful than a lot of the other L1s that people have always like hyped up because of the way it's working, the way the code base is, how stable it's going to be, how we're doing a full system state of Ethereum, which never been done before. Like, there's all these things that are going to make it into something I think is going to be a multi-cycle project that people are going to be hopefully excited about for the next 10 years, but we will see. I don't know. I mean, I can't say the same for all the meme coins that are coming out that are being like marketed to me constantly on Twitter. That like, and people are being mean to me on Twitter for not getting on board with their shit meme coin.
My idea is a lot better, Gamma.
Well,
No,
great.
mine's better than his.
We love good ideas.
Isn't it a point that with Pulsechain, like the big key factor is that the price, the cost and the price of the fees is going to be reduced dramatically, whereas Ethereum, Ethereum 2, the merge has come out, which is great, and that's awesome, as I understand, in terms of energy savings, 99%, but the actual fees for ETH isn't going to occur till they do the sharding phase, and that's still a long way off. They're assuming
Yeah,
it's going
it's
to come
5
in
years minimum.
2023, but when? Yeah.
So E 2.0 sharding, which is the step right after the merge, which is they're calling it the surge. So when you hear people talk about the surge, they're talking about sharding. So just so everyone's on the same page. And then that doesn't actually fix like all their problems, but it gets us closer to adding capacity to Ethereum. If there's additional capacity, then there's reduced costs because obviously people aren't fighting for block space as much. All good, right? That's like 5 years away. We'll see. Maybe it's 3 years, but that's like kind of pie in the sky, moon math a little bit. So maybe 5 years from now, I'm thinking if we got if we got the surge sharding before the top of not the next bull cycle, but the cycle after that, then that would be a win. Or maybe sometime during the bear market after the next bull market has already gone through. All right. So, like, say 3 to 4 years ago, the next bull cycle tops out. And then at some point during that bear market that precedes that goes after that, the sharding would happen. Like, okay, yeah, that seems reasonable for me. Thinking about cycles, kind of like thinking about how long it would take to do development. Yeah. 5 years, sure.
So hey, Gamma, will that is that also connected with the halving?
Well, that's happening is Bitcoin. Well, the only way
You're talking about Ethereum.
the only way you talking about, well, I mean, the halving is what drives the 4-year cycle, and then so I'm just using the 4-year cycle to talk about, like, say how long Ethereum development would take, which I think would take maybe 5 years for sharding to happen, and the way it fits into the 4-year cycle, right, is say 5 years from now, you're talking about like we're in the current bear market. You're talking like the next bear market sharding probably comes out, which would be, I don't know, somewhere in that like post, not not the next bull, but then after the bear. So around 5 years, if the 4-year cycle keeps going kind of the way it's been going. And then if you hear people talk about 100,000 transactions per second on Ethereum, that's literally Vitalik himself on stage said that's after there's like 5 stages of Ethereum, right? The merge, the surge, the purge, and the purge is basically reducing the amount of block space required to do nodes. And then there's like the splurge, and then the like whatever. There's like 2 after that, and then the
wait, hold
after
on,
like
hold
the
on.
5th.
Gamma,
Yes.
Gamma, don't forget about regurge.
Yeah. That's in there too. That's like probably like the 4th step or whatever. But right, but after the 5th step is basically just tweaking the network so that everything like functions well, right? They're talking about like 100,000 transactions per second on Ethereum after they've got proof of stake, they've got sharding, they've got block space reduced on validators so that more people can actually be a validator or can run full nodes, basically, right? The block space for the servers that are running the network after sharding would be so massive because there's a shard of Ethereum, right, is So you take the full capacity of a current L1 Ethereum full node, like the network is right now, and you multiply that by 64, right? And it could be multiplied by 1,028, and then they can multiply that by 2,056, right? Like, I mean, they can make as many shards as they want after they have the technology like available to like just add shards. They can just add shards. Well, that's a lot of data, right? And that's all synced to the block. That's all synced to the beacon chain, and then validators would, be rotated across all those shards to reach consensus across all those shards. And like, the function of the wallets would be that no matter what you did on Ethereum, if you did it on one shard or another shard, or if you did it inside of an L2 or wherever, they would like literally the user would not have to know anything. It's effectively just like how the internet works, where you don't do routing and switching and like plug in IP addresses and stuff yourself, like on the internet, right? The hardware, like the computer you're using, does all that on the back end. You don't need to know how the internet functions. They're moving towards a world in which you use Ethereum and you're using an L2, you're using a particular shard that has a contract on it, and you're moving seamlessly again, across all the Ethereum network. It's very complex, and you're doing that, and you're not, as a user, you're not really worried about any of that stuff because it just functions. And that's on the wallets, and that's how the programs that are built using Web3 or Web 15 by that point, or whatever you want to call it, right? They're just seamlessly using blockchain, just like we use the internet right now. And how long is that going to take? What, 20 years? I mean, the way we function on blockchains is going to be completely revolutionized in 20 years. We already knew that, right? Because it's very fast. But like technically on the underlying level of the technology, if you look at the network topology and how the network, like say Ethereum, is going to be rolled out and changed over the next 10 years, it's very exciting, right? But it's also going to take like 20 years. So, you know what I mean? Pulsechain is here as a stopgap so that people can trade cheaply while Ethereum fixes their stuff, which is going to take a very, very long time. And then, here's another point, since I'm kind of talking about technology. Richard said on one of the videos that I saw that his idea is with Pulsechain becomes congested, that he just forks Pulsechain again. Well, I mean, it's a different thing, but it's kind of like what Ethereum is doing, because what Ethereum is doing is they're taking the current state of Ethereum and they're basically breaking it off into a bunch of shards, adding capacity. So Richard's idea is you have Pulsechain, and Pulsechain is successful, hopefully, and it starts getting filled. Then he just makes another blockchain that adds capacity. Well, I mean, I don't know how that would be structured, but it's kind of what Ethereum is doing with sharding. So we'll see if Pulsechain becomes very successful, what route we take as a network to add capacity to Pulsechain, which could theoretically be similar to what Ethereum is doing, only lagging Ethereum by, I don't know, 5 years or something, which would be pretty interesting. So we're like, we forked Ethereum, and now we can take some of the L2 stuff from Ethereum. We can take sharding or something else that's similar to sharding. Also take that, and we could fragment Pulsechain into additional networks that are basically Pulsechain, but then you add capacity that way. And that's, 5 years or 10 years away or whatever. What I'm saying is that, Pulsechain eventually would need to add capacity to itself. And what way would that be? Like, how would we do that? We're not even thinking about that yet because we haven't even launched. And this is literally, years away from us having to think about it. Because Pulsechain could literally be a parallel network with Ethereum that runs, and then everyone can just choose whether they want to transact on Ethereum or they want to transact on Pulsechain. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, that's enough ranting from me.
Nah, I just wanted to do a mic check real quick. It's good to hear your voice. I haven't been in this room in a minute. I want to see how I sound.
It's good to see everyone here. That's what's up.
Yeah, I saw like there was like 25 people in the chat, and if there's more than 20 people, I come in to see what's happening.
Yeah, this whole week I've been trying to hop in. Been like 10 people just chilling in here. Steak and Bake's been here like all the time. DC stays here all the time. Impulsive, Krakatoa in here all the time.
Yeah, this is there's people who have moved on to other things, and there's other people who've stayed. I've stayed. I'm not interested in those other things.
I'm just being aware of my surroundings and my environment, but still here.
Yeah, I'm driving back from vacation. So
Dude,
Where'd you
were
go?
you?
I'm not actually driving.
That beach looks so nice.
By the way, I'm a
That white sand beach looks so freaking nice. Where was that?
Oh, you about yeah, we were in Destin, Florida.
Ah, okay.
Then we got a second day driving back home to our undisclosed location in the United States.
You live in Richard's basement's mom's house too?
Yeah, well, there's a whole big group of us. Yeah, Richard's got a huge basement.
He lives in his mom's basement, but she's getting tired when he owns a jet. So go sleep in your jet.
Yeah. I mean, I've been looking at TikTok recently. Here's a story here. This is completely like off base, but like whatever. So I was watching this TikTok, and it's basically TikToks of Reddit. And this guy, the story of this father bought his son a house. The father still owns it, lets his son live in it for free. Then his son was going to get married. His son's new wife's family decided that his family wasn't the type of class that they need to have. Disinvited like the son's whole family to their wedding, and then they were surprised when they got kicked out of the house that his father had bought for him to live in for free. And I thought that was incredibly funny story on TikTok that I just watched this morning, because like a very nice house, and then the new wife's family is like so like upper cloth. They're like, oh, you can't, you guys are like not good enough for us. You can't even go to the wedding. I'm like, oh my god, talking about some entitled people.
Pretty savage.
And the funniest part of the whole story was the father was writing this on Reddit, and he said that the mother, the dad, the wife, and the son were all living in the house. They're like, how exactly is this wife's family so good that the other family can't go to the wedding if they literally moved into the house? Like, how does that make any sense at all? I was like, oh my god, what are they, poor? I was like, what? I don't know, understand. I mean, this is so hilarious.
Oh, dude, that's just when you're gaming the system so hard, you eventually get to a point of stupidity. Like, how much more can we get? How much more can we get?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I just saw that on Reddit on TikTok today. So I was like, oh my god, that's hilarious. And then I've seen some people talk about like Richard's wallet, and then somebody was I forget what chat. It was like one of these chat people were talking about Richard's wallet, and I'm thinking, what functionality, what utility could Richard's wallet token even have? And there's like a couple things. There'd be, I guess, a built-in exchange. So you get a fee from that. I mean, I'm like wondering, like, what the hell can that thing even like provide? And I'm sure Richard will come up with something. I'm sure it'll be awesome. But I'm like just wondering, like, what would be the reason why I'd want to own that thing, right? Because Richard makes things that I like, I want to own, right? He gives me a reason to own his thing, hold his thing, buy more of his thing, and it's not like narrative, right? So I'm like thinking, like, what the hell kind of shit he's gonna put in this thing that's gonna make me want to like buy it and sacrifice it? Probably something really great. We'll find out when it comes out, like after Pulsechain launches. We'll see. Because I do not buy pure governance tokens. I think they are like like is the stupidest token.
I think one thing I heard him mention, which I would be pretty stoked on, and I think a lot of other people would be too, is sending amounts to, like, basically executing multiple transactions in one foul swoop. So sending tokens to multiple wallets with one send action. Thinking about like businesses paying out workers or something. If someone is on their payroll and decides, I want 5% of my paycheck in Hex, or this token or whatever, you could set that up as like a monthly recurring transaction. Um, paying that 5% off to your employee.
Good morning, Papa. Long time no speak.
How you doing, Hojo?
Hanging in there in the Big Apple this week.
I was there for my vacation.
Has anybody heard? It's actually why I came in here. Has anybody heard from Pepe? I heard something about him dropping and ending up in the hospital. And
No, he's on Twitter, so I know they're doing okay. I see him post on Twitter sometimes. He hasn't been in the Telegram recently.
I spoke to him this morning. He's doing all right.
okay, cool. Thank you for that.
Need to get some much needed rest is all he needs to do right now. Hey, Papa, I wanted to also ask you, any word? Have you heard anything about the new iPhone coming out in terms of security?
No, I haven't. I'm not usually abreast with iPhones until they do the whole deep dive on, was it the Apple Day or whatever, and I get that from my friends in Silicon Valley. But did you catch anything that you want to share?
Negative, nothing. I'm just interested in probably getting it when it comes out.
So they are trying to introduce something called Apple Wallet. Well, they already have it, but in your Apple Wallet, you'll be able to see your crypto assets, just like Samsung already started, but they're only viewing centralized exchanges. So you would have to log into your centralized exchange, and then you'll be able to view your your assets, send them out, whatever you need to do. So
With,
Apple's trying to introduce something like that, and
without APIs,
excuse me.
without APY, APKs, anything like that.
Yes. So you don't have to have the app or anything. You just log in.
But I mean, is there a link that you have to approve for access into the actual centralized exchange?
If your centralized exchange normally has a 2FA, then yeah, just follow the just normal login procedures.
So it's an access through the front door and not through the back door then.
No, yeah, it's the front door.
Pretty much read only.
They said that's what they said, but they said you can be able to view it and send, but I don't know what they mean by send. So or transact. Sorry, you can't actually buy anything with it. Like you can't use Samsung Pay with it. You just be able to view it.
Yeah, I need to see more on that.
Well, yeah.
Sounds,
Good morning,
sounds
evening,
yeah.
afternoon to everyone. Hope you guys are all good. I was just checking in. I'll be in and out.
Check the chat, Papa.
Right on, man. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I have a quick question. Has anyone heard? Is there any estimate on when the Highest of Stakes movie is supposed to come out? Is it going to be like this year's quarter 4, or is it just anyone's guess?
I think Richard's. I think it's been said maybe by end of the year. Does anybody have a better estimate than that? That's all I know.
An hour longer than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, I heard that
Oh,
too, bro.
Star Wars wins.
Didn't Rackham make a comment about September?
Well, I mean, Richard posted about needing a yacht for a final scene or something in the movie, so they're still making the movie technically.
Yeah, I saw that, and the only reason I'm asking is because I mean, something tells me that you know that might have something to do with some timing. Something tells me he's not going to want to launch before that comes out, but who the hell knows?
I mean, there's no indication that anybody is timing anything other than timing the work of development, and then when it's done, it's done. I guess we'll see. I mean, actual code releases. There hasn't been a public code release in 3 months. So there's a lot of work going on behind the scenes, and with no actual indication of like how far along they are. Um, I mean, inferring from what Richard has said, which is all we can do right now, would say that they're done with their code migration, and now they're doing pen testing on the network, which is what he said about creating a bot, a DDoS, a bot to attack the network. So for me, I can think, okay, great. So they've actually probably gone through the initial work of making the changes they wanted to make, and now they're doing additional testing. How long does that additional testing take? No idea. No idea how far along they are. and like cross our fingers, maybe to come out in a few months.
Right, right.
Well, I just checked my dashboard for Pulsechain testnet. PLSnetstats.com shows you the state of the Ethereum of the Pulsechain network. Stable still, no problems. Went on vacation, never a problem. That's what I like to see. As a difference, I'm running Eve 2.0. A day after I get everything up and running, it dies on me. So I am assuming that it has been dead for a week. And then when I go to check my computer, then I have to restart everything up again. Not quite so stable.
Gotcha.
Hey, Papa, check your DM.